Hey, this is Christina from the Facebook page Racing and Saving Mama. And also on the line is my uh, good friend and Amber. Amber, you're from.
Authentically fearless, authentic.
Perfect. And tonight we are going to be discussing, since it's the holiday season, we thought it'd be fun to discuss stress management, how to deal with the crazy holiday season and not lose your mind. Some cleaning tips, some of our groups that we have coming up, and maybe some recipes for Thanksgiving. Just a fun little quick podcast, just to chat your ear off and tell you how to deal with things. Now, you will notice that when Amber speaks, you will probably see a picture of a phone, and that's because we're having technical difficulties. But as this podcast is about being free of stress, we are not going to get stressed out about that, and we're just going to roll with it. So, Amber, what's been going on with you lately?
Well, right now I am forming my December challenge group, and this is all about combating stress and just not giving into all of the fullness of whatever the holidays, no matter what celebrations um, for December. They can always be super stressful, and you feel like you're pulled in a million ways. Well, this is a way to combat that.
Gotcha.
And that's one of the big things I'm working on right now.
Yeah, your groups are always good about that. Um, we have coming out in December. I'm pretty excited about the fact that they're about to release Insanity Max. I think that's going to be neat. I've been seeing some of the test group coaches going through it, and they are having some huge results. Even just after the 3 weeks that they've been doing it, I'm seeing big results. So it's going to be exciting. And I know that's coming out. Is it coming out December 3rd or 4th? Amber, do you remember?
I think it's the third. The thing that I'm the most excited about is not so much weight loss, because if you look at pictures, and you can even go on to Sean T if you follow him on Instagram, not Facebook, but Instagram. He shows some really cool pictures of before and afters. But that's not the thing that's got me so excited. What has me so excited is that everyone's talking about their stamina and their endurance and their physical fitness levels. And this is something that really, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be a from insanity as far as intensity, but this is something that anybody can do no matter your fitness levels. And you know, everyone's like, oh, I'm a CrossFit person, or I just do marathons and I don't need all those kind of fitness programs. This is something really to just take your game, whatever your game is, and just bump it up a notch, because anybody who says I'm good where I am, I don't need to get any better, I kind of have to just wondering why don't you want to grow? Because this is an excellent program to make you just better.
Right. Right. His programs are great about confusing your muscles and keeping them, you know, never getting used to one move or one program. So he's really good at that. And it does fit in well with a lot of different things that people may be doing besides working out at home. And with the winter season here and places like Buffalo getting covered in snow, having a program like this that they can do at the house, they won't lose the momentum that they've been building up with some of their other workout programs that they've been doing, maybe running or at the gym or things like that. So there will be no excuses this winter if with the home workout programs there.
Yeah, we're not getting captured.
No, no excuses. No excuses. You got to stay fit. The other thing that's exciting that's going on with Beachbody right now is that we have the Black Friday sale starting tomorrow. So that'll be good. They have a lot of programs like Turbo Fire. Two different styles of the Turbo Fire is going to be on sale. All three P90Xs, P90X, P90X2, and P90X3 are all on sale. Combat, Les Mills Pump, a lot of the equipment that goes with all of those, Insanity Asylum, they're all going to be deeply discounted starting tomorrow night around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe, 5 p.m. Pacific. So I'm looking forward to that. I know for everyone who's tight on a budget, there again, no excuses. These programs are so they're so deeply discounted. Most people should be able to at least grab one of them.
Right. I was looking at the Turbo Fires because so many people have been asking me after PiYo came out, because they had that little hit bonus workout
Right.
in the program, and they're just like, "Tell me about Turbo Fire." And I mean, and that little sample, it's a good idea of what Turbo Fire is. It is not what Turbo Fire is. I mean, Turbo Fire is so much more than that.
Right.
And now I saw that it's going to be one of those programs that's on sale. And this isn't, and in such a low price, you probably get a bunch of them and give them out as Christmas presents.
Yeah, absolutely. TurboFire was the second program that I did. I started with Chalene Extreme, which was another Chalene Johnson workout program. And then I got one of the little sample DVDs and with the Chalene Extreme, and it was the HITS program for TurboFire, probably the same one that was with PiYo. And it hooked me, just that little sample, because it's high intensity interval training. So you go all out for about a minute and then you rest for a minute. And she has all different length workouts. So she's got 15-minute workouts, which are mostly hits. So you're up and down, up and down. She's got the 30-minute. My favorite of hers is the 45-minute long one, but she's got a 55-minute too. And then she's also got toning and strength training, and she's got a cool little thing that after each workout, she's got a 10-minute stretch workout that you can do that is really great. I mean, she works out all of your muscles, your rotator cuff, everything. It's just a full body workout, and it comes with a cool recipe book, a meal plan. It's just the whole package. I really like TurboFire a lot. It's a lot of fun. She has awesome music on it, and Chalene, you just can't go wrong with her. She's so motivating.
And her core, the ab ones, I mean, all of her, even going back to Turbo Jam, all of her ab workouts are no joke. I mean, I always, whenever I try one out to begin with, it takes me a couple weeks to finally make it all the way through, so I'm not modifying, because her core workouts are just no joke.
No, they're tough. The whole program was tough. I mean, her strength training portions, a lot of times she uses bands, but those are no joke. They're really they're killer. They're killer. So it's a lot of fun. It's one of those workouts that you do and you look forward to doing. And it's a 90-day program, so I forget the sale price. Do you know off the top of your head? But it's like, I don't know.
I can look. Well, I want to say it's like $30.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely less than 40.
Coach.
38, something like that. But it's for a 3-month program that you're not going to get bored with. That's going to work every muscle. That's cardio and strength training combined. It is hard to beat.
They discounted it 50% off. It's $40.
Yeah.
Yeah. The price is $36.
Yeah, that's an amazing price, and it's one of my favorite workouts. It's one that I go back to. I started off with it 2.5 years ago, and it's one of those that I keep going back to. You just can't go wrong with Chalene. I love her so much. So that's going to be one of the programs. The other program on there is Combat, which is a bunch of fun. That's a great kickboxing program. And the people are from Australia that teach it, and they are funny. They sing to you during the workout, and they just make me laugh. And it's nothing. Yeah, it really gets, when I do Combat, my booty and my legs pop. I mean, they get in shape quick with that program, so it's a lot of fun. And I think that's even cheaper than TurboFire. So there's a lot of good options, something for everybody. So that's kind of the big news going on with Beachbody right now. So let's get into the strength training program. Strength training, got that on my brain now. Stress management. What are some of your favorites with stress management, Amber?
For me, and this is something that I do this all the time, 24/7, 12 months a year. This is my motto. I carefully, strategically plan my life to be as stress-free as possible. And during the holidays, any kind of, whether it's summertime, Christmas time, whatever the holidays are, that's when you see all these, you go on Pinterest and, your bucket list for November or your bucket list for this thing. And I always have to take a second and just take a deep breath and regroup and thinking quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it simple. And so one of the things that I make sure that I do is I always think of myself on January 1st. And whenever you go on, especially on Facebook, you're like, oh, does anybody know any good detox recipes? I feel horrible. My stomach feels like I had balls in it. It's just feeling yucky. And I do not want to do that. So I always think about that. I mean, you always think of something, and I'm reading this really quick book. Where is it? It's called The Art of Happiness by Howard C. Cutler, and he interviews the Dalai Lama. We always need to ask yourself, is this something that is pleasure-seeking for right now, or will this make me happy in the future? So I always think of scheduling. First and foremost, I just keep to my normal schedule. I get up at the same time, I eat the same meals, and I'm kind of boring. I either oatmeal or scrambled eggs, vegetables. I'm really boring, and my lunches are pretty much the same. My dinners are nothing fancy. I've got very bland kids who just they don't need any extravagant French cuisine. They just need the basics: meat, potatoes, and veggies. So I just keep to my schedule. I just keep it simple, and I get the kids off to school, and I don't go all crazy. And then that allows me to get all the things I need to get done. That allows me to eat the food that I need to eat, so I don't migraines, don't get stomach aches. And that also allows me on Saturday and Sunday, so that we can go sleigh riding, we can go Christmas tree shopping, we can do those things and have the time without going crazy about it. And that also, so that just the basic three things: keeping to my schedule, keeping to my routines, and keeping it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing. I mean, it's no big secret. It's no outlandish thing. It's not some crazy formula. It's just a basic thing.
Right. I think that's important. I'm the big queen of list making, so I like to. One way I keep myself organized and lower the stress levels, I make lists. So I'll do a to-do list, and I'll write out the things I want to accomplish, and then what I do is I go back and I'll number them from the most important to the least important. And so I know I have to hit the most important. So if I have 10 things on my list and I can only get 6 done, well, I'll get the 6 most important things done. And then the 4 that may not happen, well, they probably weren't that important anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. And I just give myself sort of a break on that. So I think that's how I really keep myself sane. Another thing I do to kind of help myself, especially when the kids are off, my kids are going to be off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I don't want them to slip with school, and I don't want to have them running crazy. And I think if you keep kids busy, they stay out of trouble better. So I have a favorite website, and I think it's called teacherspayteachers.com, and you can get a few things on there free, some printables, and then you can also buy some curriculums, and a lot of times they'll have them themed, and they have them split up by age and by grade. So you can go on there, and so for when we were off for Labor Day, I went on there and I printed off their Labor Day packets, and it had about 10 sheets, 10 things of activities, and I split it up between my 2 kids, and I think it was like $3. And it kept them busy. It taught them about Labor Day, and I felt like I was making a big step towards their education and keeping them out of trouble because they were staying busy, and which kept me happier. So I think that's a great thing to do. I mean, you can go onto Pinterest and you can find a whole bunch of things free. I just like that site because it is supporting teachers, and it's based on the curriculum that my kids, and I think a lot of the kids in the nation, are going through, the core curriculum. So it really kind of falls suit with what they're doing in school, and it works out real well. I like it a lot. I used it on the summer program when they were out for the summer, and I'll be using it again for Thanksgiving and on a Christmas break. So I think that's a great stress thing to do, keeping them busy.
Yeah, that's a really good idea because it's so important to teach them not only to be constructive with their time, but also to be independent.
Right. And there's so many kids have, and mine are the same way, have so many electronics, and they can just sit there and they can veg out with those electronics and just warp their brains, or they can do something it makes them a little bit smarter instead. And I go for that, at least for a little bit, at least for an hour or two a day, I say. Um, so some of the other things, what's another, do you have any other tips
Um,
or anything else you
I
want to
think my biggest about the whole stress thing is that I always ask them, what is one thing that you really want to do? And one of my sons always says that he wants to do the cookies. He wants to make the Christmas cookies. And I need that. I need them to pick out just one or two things. There's some things that you kind of have to do it, whether like that are highlights of your religion. And it keeps me accountable because if I didn't have that, if it was just me and Doug, or if it was just me, I just plow through the holiday season, and I would kind of like come out in January in my focus kind of like bulldozer mode, like, all right, I survived it, and I would not have done anything.
Right.
So, and then I would feel bad. So what I do is, and rather than having a big long laundry list of a gazillion things I need to do, I said, pick out a couple of things, and we do hit some good ones, and we do, like I said, the tree decorating, we do the holiday, the cookies and things like that, and everyone's happy, and we didn't just rush through them all, or not really enjoy ourselves while we were doing them, just to get it done and get the pictures done, and look, we did it. So we make sure that that's the biggest thing, is that we make sure that we focus on the quality of what we do versus the quantity.
Right. Yeah, that's real important. I like, you mentioned that your kids help you make cookies, and I love it when my kids help me in the kitchen. They have their own drawer full of their own utensils that they have, like little kid whisks and little spatulas and all kinds of. So I'm a firm believer that you bring the kids into the kitchen and you have them help you, because I think it helps them try new things that they might not have tried otherwise, and it makes them appreciate the amount of time that we're in there cooking. And I think it helps them in the long run, so that when they go out on their own, they're not just eating macaroni and cheese because that's the only, or oodles and noodles because that's the only thing they know how to make. It sets them up for a lifelong of being self-sustainable, not relying on anybody else. So I'm a firm believer in bringing the kids into the kitchen. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it kind of speaks to what the holidays are really about. It's about being together and with your family and enjoying each other, and it's just more special when they're in there with you. We put on I am a cheap person, so I set my playlist a lot of times to YouTube. So we'll put the YouTube kids, some kid songs that I think are appropriate on, and we just start getting in there and baking and having fun. And that's a great stress reliever too, is just having your family around and having a lot of fun with them.
I didn't hear that last part you just said, though.
Oh, I said I think it's a great stress reliever by having your family around and getting things done together in the kitchen and just having fun. I think that's one of the best stress relievers you can do.
I have Christmas cookies and things like that. I can do it and I enjoy it, but my husband enjoys it so much more. So I kind of just all right, I'll watch the baby, or as they get a little older, I like to take the reins of it. And he loves to make apple crisp. He loves to do the cookies and things like that. And I totally let him, because it shows my sons that it's okay for guys to cook and bake. It's cool.
Right.
And that way they don't, when they're getting older, they just expect their girlfriends and wives to do it.
Right.
And he, when things comes and things like that, I let him. He's got some dishes that he really likes, and there's certain things that I prefer him not to make that are my things that I like to make him a certain way, and there's things that he likes a certain way. Smashed potatoes so much better than I do. I don't let him touch the green bean roll because I like the way I make it. So and then I like my boys see that Dad cooks.
Right.
He doesn't just man the barbecue.
Right. Well, my husband's not a very good example that way. I do all the cooking and the grilling, but I'm changing that with my son because he helps me all of the time in the kitchen. In fact, he won second place with his pound cake at the big Dixie Classic Fair in our town. So he's becoming.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's becoming a baker. So it's exciting. Last year he won first place, so it's stiff competition this year.
It pays off when he gets older, because my 11-year-old now comes home from school and chasing after the other kids. He can make himself something to eat, and it's not just a couple slices of bread, slice of cheese. He can make himself some soup, or he can make himself an actual sandwich that has components other than cheese in it. And it really kind of frees up my time, and I tell him, that it was really actually helpful that I got the 21-day fix, and I showed him the container, and these are the kind of things you need to have a red, and you need to have either a green or a purple, or if you want to, you can have a yellow. And now he's not just walking around with a bag of chips.
Nice. That was very clever. I like that. Might have to do that with my daughter. I think that's cool. So, do you have any? So here's a kitchen tip that I want to share with people. With Thanksgiving, people tend to make things like mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, turkey stuffing, bread, all different kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And I think people fall into the trap of waiting till Thanksgiving Day to do them. And so I believe that a lot of recipes you can make ahead. Like tomorrow, it's going to be Tuesday, and I'm going to be making the cranberry sauce for sure. And I'm going to look at my other recipes and see what else I can make. I might make, because I make a celebration loaf, which is where I make the bread and I braid it together and bake it. I know for sure that I'm going to do the cranberry sauce. So I think a way to help yourself through the holidays is look what you can make ahead of time. And the other most important, I think, kitchen tip that you can have is to read the full recipe. Read every step, read all the ingredients, because so many people may look at the ingredients or may read part of it, and then they get into the cooking part and they realize, well, especially with bread, well, I've got to rest this for 45 minutes. I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and there's 4 or 5 different steps, and I really only have an hour before dinner, and I have to rest it for 45 minutes, and then I have to, reshape the ball, and then I have to rest it again, and then they've just screwed up. So reading the full direction and seeing what you can make ahead of time, even if it's a day or two, storing in an airtight container, will do a lot to keep your sanity and keep the time, commitment down. And crock potting. I have a big three thing crock pot. I guess it's like a serving crock pot. And I put, I'll make early in the morning some of the stuff, the gravy, the mashed potatoes and stuff like that. And I just put in the crock pot and I leave it and not worry about it then. Because then I can focus on the turkey and sort of the main stars of the meal. And it keeps everything warm, and it's easy for people to serve themselves, and it's a real stress-free thing.
That's so. I am, honestly, all the cooking that I do, I'm still kind of learning. I'm not a really good cook, but I do know that when I make my recipe, I've learned very early on. Look at the ingredient, look at the recipe, like you said, but to take the ingredients out and specifically look at them, because if you need something, you're like, oh wait, I only have 1 can of beans and I needed 3.
Right.
Then you got to run to the store and you get that. I learned that way early in marriage. The second thing, and I have 3 brothers, and growing up, my dad was of 8, so we used to always have Thanksgiving at my aunt's house. And I learned quickly, when you've got a family that big, I mean, there would be 60 plus people at her house for Thanksgiving.
Wow.
You dealt, and you say, you know what, you make a really good key lime pie or lemon meringue or whatever it is. Why don't you bring 2 or 3 of them? And you have one person bring the 1 or 2 people bringing the turkey in. You've got X amount of people bringing mashed potatoes. So, and everyone has 1 or 2 dishes that they're really good at.
Right.
And because there's some things I don't think I could actually make the turkey on my own. That if we were to actually, because my mom's actually bringing the turkey up for this year, but if we were to have it, and we've had it just our small little family, Doug's in charge of that, because I've never done it myself. But so I've learned just delegating. There's no, I mean that's how I grew up with it, and I guess it's because when you feed so many people, you can't make a gazillion pounds of mashed potatoes all by yourself.
Right, right. Yes. Who'd want to do that?
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I had Thanksgivings in the past. This is years ago. It was Doug and I and our son Ethan. And we went way overboard. And we spent like 2 days cooking, and there was like the three of us and our little tiny stomach. This whole table of food. So, and we had leftovers forever and ever and ever. But then as our families grow and we move closer back home, and my brothers come to visit, or Doug's family comes to visit, and we've got multiple families there, I learned there's some things I'm just good at making, and it's quite hard. You know, you make that so much. Why don't you bring that? Just relieve the stress a little bit.
That's a good tip to, spread the wealth out. I tend to be such a control freak that I'm like, well, I like these dishes and I want them to be fixed the way I like them, and so therefore I'm going to make them all, and then that's just craziness. It's craziness.
I'm a couple because I like to have, because if I've gone to my mom's house or I go to when Doug's in China, I find that there's too many unhealthy things. So I always make sure that there's a couple dishes that fit those food groups I know that at least I'm going to eat healthy at the end of the day. And even we went to a Thanksgiving potluck with our scout, and I made this very simple Mediterranean dish. I had ground beef in it, and stewed tomatoes and green beans and navy beans and seasoning, and it had not ground beef, turkey. It was a really actually healthy dish. It was very filling. It's one of my kids' favorites. It fills you up, seared ribs and all that. But it was the healthy one, and there were some really good looking macaroni and cheeses and some ziti's and some yummy things. But I knew that if I kind of stuck to the thing that I brought and I tasted a little bit of everybody else's, it was good. I know that I ate healthy and I got the things in that I needed to get in, and I wasn't just overindulging on cheese and fat and salt.
Right.
That I play with the clear conscience that I did my best.
Yeah, because the typical Thanksgiving meal that the average American eats, one plate on average is over 1,000 calories. That is a huge, huge thing. And most people don't stop at just one plate. They go
No.
back for two or three even sometimes. And that will just kill all the progress that you've done for the whole week. All the workouts that you've done, all the clean eating that you've done for the rest of the week. It's an awful shame just to blow it on one meal. So we are definitely cleaning up our recipes this year. We're cleaning up our cranberries, everything really. In fact, I put out a newsletter to my customers today on all the recipes that I'll be making that are clean, they're paleo friendly, and I'll include a link below this video so that if people want to check it out, it's made with a lot less of the crap that's in a lot of the other ones. A lot of the less processed things. It's using fresh green beans, fresh cranberries, things like that instead of the things that come out of a can that who knows how long they've been there. So
That'll probably make that much better too.
yeah, I think so. I'm pretty excited about it. So um, let's see. Anything else on your end?
Well, this year my mom had asked me to make one because I fell in love. I bought have you heard of Veggetti?
Mm-mm.
That little thing that you can make the vegetable noodles.
Oh yeah, spiralizer.
Yeah, so she's been seeing my pictures of it that I've been putting on there, and it's so simple. I just take a zucchini, I spiral it, and I saute it with. You have to squeeze it to make sure you get the extra
Right.
water out of it, or else it's kind of watery. And I saute it with some garlic and mushrooms, and I think I bought some onions. Try to add some onions to it next too. And she's like, "Can you make like a plate of that? Because I want to try it." And the thing is, that little plastic little thing, it cost me like $12 at Walgreens.
Right.
And I eat one a little sauteed because a little bit goes a long way. For lunch, probably every other day. It's one of those I've adapted for my winter warm kind of meal. And see, I like the warmer things. Now it's so simple. And my little 5-year-old, he comes by as I'm spiraling it up. He comes by it, and this is raw zucchini. He comes by my cutting board, and he just kind of like sneaks his finger in, and he's just like, I only like because otherwise I slice them up the zucchini. he doesn't like them like that. He likes spirals. He just walks around and eats them.
Yeah. What
And
kids like something spiraled?
yeah, I know. So it's just so simple. And yeah, so she asked me to make that. Like, yeah, I could do that. That'll take me all of 10 minutes, maybe less.
Right, right. Yeah, I have a spiralizer too, and I love that thing. I do the zucchinis and then I put them into like a cold salad too and sprinkle them with like some balsamic vinaigrette and maybe some
Oh, that's
sun-dried tomatoes, and that is just so good. And some olives, black olives. Really good. There's so many different things you can do with that thing.
Doug likes to use he loves to have hash browns in the morning, but you don't when you buy them in the store, you don't know what else is in. He
Right.
makes a hash brown with that a couple of those little boys, and they're good to go for filling up the stomach of boys is no easy.
Right. Right. So, so let's see. So we've talked healthy recipes, we've talked stress management,
Mhm.
what's going on with Beachbody. If you wanna take advantage of some of the Black Friday deals, check out Amber's and my links. They'll be below, and we both have events where we'll be posting minute by minute updates for the Black Fridays. We'll be posting where you can get these great deals, um, and that you should get them quick because a lot of things run out. I know in the past 2 years things have sold out like that, especially programs like TurboFire. So we'll keep you up to date on that. So definitely connect with one of us, and we will make sure we help you however we can. And if you want to join the Stress Free Management group, contact us and we'll be happy to help you get involved in that. We'll set you up with a workout program and a meal plan, and we'll just get it so that you're losing weight this holiday season instead of packing it on, and you won't have to make any New Year's resolutions that regard your weight. So you'll start the new year already healthy, which is going to be very cool. And it's going to take you through December. So you'll have the support of us all through December to help you out and keep you on the right track. Because there's nothing like a support and accountability to keep you going right. Unless you have anything else, I think that's it. Don't you, Amber?
Yep, that's all.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. And if you have any questions about healthy eating, how to start your workout plan, how to join one of our challenge groups, message us. We'll be happy to help. And if you have a question that you'd like us to answer on one of these podcasts, leave it below and we will do our best to answer it. And I think that's it. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Good luck with the Black Friday, whether it's with Beachbody or in the crazy stores. And good luck. Happy holidays. Bye, y'all.